2, 1. How's it going, everyone? This is episode 5 of our World of Lifting podcast. I am joined today by Louis Braue, also known as Leviathan Lifts on Instagram. He is a close personal friend of mine and also a very competitive powerlifter. Louis, how you doing?
I've been doing great, man. It's been a little while since we've talked. How you been?
Yeah, I've been doing good. Yeah, but we talked about a week ago, I don't know, a few days back, just to get this podcast going and release your story out there, you know?
It's going to be a good time, man. I haven't really done a podcast before, and I'd love to go on the air and tell people more about me, you know? Better than just a minute video on Instagram.
Yeah, so we met through, I think, Gaglione Strength back in 2018, the youth meet. I remember.
Feels like yesterday.
Yeah, that was a good day. We both did pretty well that day. We both took our weight classes. Yeah,
and you came home with best lifter.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah. Yeah, no one expected that.
I sure didn't, man. I didn't even know who you were. And this guy comes to the deadlift, blows it out of the water and pulls all 3 of his attempts beltless.
I've never seen that before.
What?
All right, yeah, but enough about me. This is about you. So, my first question to you is, how did this all begin? How did powerlifting, how did Leviathan Lifts come about?
That is a great question. Well, when I was around 14, 13, I always felt pretty insecure about myself. I was a little on the heavier side, a little bit of a chubbier kid, and I wasn't really that big into sports or anything along those lines, but I started to get my feet a little bit lifting and going to the gym here and there. And one of my really close friends, which competed that day, name's Jacob Hill.
Oh, yeah, Jacob. I remember.
Jacob _Hill _ Dylan, I think his name is.
What?
He changes it like every fucking month, but
isn't it strength and rehab or something? Or
yeah, at one point it was that. It's hysterical. But I've known him since I was like 8 years old. I've known him my entire life. And he started getting really serious into weightlifting. And there was this guy at the gym that convinced him to compete for his first time. And that was before I was moving any weight. I was still an insecure younger kid. I was doing some of the big lifts, but I wasn't even deadlifting at that point. But I remember he was competing, and I wanted to be there more than anything, because I've never been to a powerlifting meet before. And I showed up. I was in the back of the crowd, and every time he would lift, I would stand up and just to feel, and this is at Gaglione Strength, and just to feel the atmosphere and the people in the crowd and just the sport in general. In that moment, through all those lifts, I just knew that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And within about 6 to 8 months, I competed my first time in December, and I still have a picture of my final attempt framed in my room as we speak. It was a great day. I hit almost everything I wanted to do. I blew the deadlift out of the water, and I never felt more proud of myself. And it was kind of,
found your calling,
me
right?
doing it for that calling, and me doing it for that past Louis, and kind of just saying, this is what's for me. Because when I was younger, I never had anything like that. And now that I know that this is for me, then I'm never going to stop.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it all began.
So now that you have powerlifting, was there anything before that, like swimming or running, track, any sports before that?
I would play basketball here and there. I was pretty trash, to be honest. I'd play half-court basketball outside my front with my brother and his older friends. But other than that, man, I was a indoors, video games, sloppy food, do nothing fucking kind of kid. And for whatever reason, powerlifting and the barbell just came to me, and I couldn't thank it any more than I already do.
Oh, yeah, and I think we talked about this before, like a long time ago, but where did the name Leviathan come from?
Oh, I love that question. I'm sure I'll be getting that a lot more times in my life, but I love answering it. I can't lie. So Leviathan, I didn't really come to that name too long ago. It was probably 2 years ago, maybe a few months before my first competition. Pretty much the Leviathan is an ancient biblical creature in Christian religion, certain types of mythology, Judaism, and it's pretty much a underwater sea serpent type monster, I guess you could say, that lives deep beneath the waters. And it was slain by this archangel, and there's a whole story that goes along with this creature. But I remember reading a poem about this creature.
Someone killed it?
And I pretty much have. It's crazy. It's a really deep story. I can't lie. Probably way deeper than I need it to be, but I got to go all the way when it comes to this because this is everything to me. But there's this poem that I pretty much memorized the last part of this excerpt because it means so much to me. I might even get it tattooed on me at one point. And this is how it resonates back to me. It goes, until the latter fire shall heat the deep, then once by man and angels to be seen, in roaring he shall rise, and on the surface die. And pretty much what that means is that, like I was saying before, when I was younger, I didn't really have much of a calling, and I didn't really have any kind of fire behind me. And this powerlifting thing and this whole fitness journey that I'm going on, not many people are seeing me right now and acknowledging me and seeing what kind of potential that I will have. And that's kind of me being that creature deep beneath the water that hasn't been seen, you know, like the poem said, by once man and angels to be seen, or whatever it says.
Oh, shit.
Deep beneath the waters. And as the poem says, it says, in roaring he shall rise, pretty much meaning that when I do start to become known, it's going to be fire. I'm going to rise in a roaring blaze where I'm breaking records, competing, winning nationals, hopefully get to IPF, you know, building my own brand, my own merch, my own, I guess, quote unquote fitness company, maybe my own gym, coaching people. That's kind of me roaring. And then once I do everything and help as many people as I possibly can in fitness and health in the whole genre and complete that in my life, I am perfectly fine with dying.
That's when you rise to the surface.
And that's what that means.
Damn.
And that's why the whole Leviathan word kind of resonates with me.
So this is a sea, lives in the sea?
Sea serpent type creature is what the mythology references that.
So this is a Hebrew thing?
Hebrew, Christianity, a few religions recognize the creature in slightly different ways.
What does it represent in the religion?
It's actually kind of funny because in Christianity, you know, I'm not super religious myself. I could say I'm slightly religious, but on my mom's side of the family, they're very religious and, you know, hard Christians. And in the Christian religion, in certain interpretations, it's evil.
Oh, yeah.
But in more of a modern interpretation, it's more of just power.
Okay.
And a big presence, right? But my aunt has heard it and seen me talk about it once or twice. She hates it. she
doesn't like it?
She hates it because she sees it as evil. But it's all up to interpretation, you know?
Yeah, it's perspective.
That's what it comes down to. And it's perspective. And if you can hear what I have to say and hear my interpretation of what it resonates to me, then who cares what, you know, thousands of years ago, some guys with books thought about what the word means.
Yeah.
It's what it means to me at the end of the day. At least that's how I see it.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one. So you obviously have big goals in powerlifting, but I want to know what your specific goals are in terms of the lifts, the squat, bench, deadlift. What are you hoping to hit by the time you quote unquote hit the surface and pass?
Okay, so you're saying my end goal weights kind of thing. Ooh, that's a good question because I haven't put too much thought into specific numbers. I've had some thought, but you know,
let me rephrase that question. Okay. I want to know your numbers for your lifetime goals. Also, like the accolades that you want to achieve in terms of like titles And
Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I was going. So my short-term goals, right, and also long-term, is because I'm only 19 right now. I have my entire juniors year to men's year in powerlifting, which juniors is, I believe, 20 to 23 age range, and then 23 to pretty much, I think, 30 something is men, and then it goes master. But what I am really hoping to achieve, and I'm really setting out to, and I'm just going to say I will, and I'll manifest that, is in my junior years, I want to compete nationally in a USAPL meet. And within my junior years, I want to win a national meet somewhere in the country, and then qualify to be able to compete in IPS, which is International Powerlifting Federation, around the country. And I want to compete against other people in the country. And my dream is to fucking win that shit.
In Sweden, right? That's always in Sweden?
Get to the top, whether it's Sweden, Poland, Norway, any of those amazing Europe countries, which I've never been to. I want to show up, dominate, take the crown, and show everybody that chubby, do-nothing kid who used to play Call of Duty Zombies all night can amount to anything he puts his mind to.
That's good.
And those are the big goals for me. But when it comes to specific numbers, I'd say at least at one point in my life, I want to pull 700.
Okay.
I want to bench somewhere in the mid fours, maybe hopefully sometime in my lifetime get to 5 in bench. And I'd honestly be fucking happy out of my mind if I got somewhere in the early 600 on a squat ever.
Okay.
Those are my long-term goals, whether it's, an IPF or just when I'm older, 35, 40, if I hit those numbers, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, well, we're chilling. Powerlifting, the life of a powerlifter, if you stay healthy, you can go on for ages.
100%. 100%. I've seen, Stan the Rhino?
Yeah, of course.
Some of the weights he's moving at, I think he's in his 50s, his early 50s now, or late 40s, squatting over 600 pounds.
Oh, great.
It's ridiculous.
A great example, Nick Best.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Nick Best, what is he, 53 or something? Squatting 800 plus?
He's 53 and he's strong-ass fucking strongman.
Yeah.
He keeps up with Eddie, Bryan, and Robert Oberst on the Strongest Men in History.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That whole
some of the stuff
series,
they do.
Yeah.
I love that show, man.
Yeah. So in powerlifting, when you first started out, obviously everyone has their own progression rate. What was your progression like in terms of your first year, I guess?
Okay. Well, I started out, let's just say numbers wise, because my numbers have been kind of up and down within me putting on weight, losing weight, building muscle, losing fat. But my first meet, I hit a 1195 total with a 275 bench, a 435 squat, and a 495 deadlift. And those were pretty big numbers. I haven't hit any of those in meet prep before that day, and it was outstanding for me in the moment.
So how long did it take you?
And that took me, I want to say about 8 to 9 months of powerlifting.
Oh, nice.
And prep in total.
Yeah,
So for me, that was insane that I was able to pull that out. So the rate of progression was very fast in the beginning.
Yeah, the standard is usually the 1,000 pound total.
100%, yeah. And I got 1195, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then, but I also made the mistake of competing. A lot of people, competitive powerlifters, they'll do a meet a year, maybe 2, and they'll space them out. My first 3 meets, I did my first meet, then 3 months. My second meet, then 3 months. And my third meet. So I was not giving myself, adequate time to deload, build muscle and conditioning. So my second meet, I was still pretty peaked and pretty conditioned. The squat, it was an RPS meet, a different federation I haven't competed with.
That was in
I
Hofstra,
can't
right? That meet?
lie. That was in Hofstra,
Yeah.
yes. And there were supposed to be 2 different days between the lifters. I think it was like teens and juniors in one day, and then masters in the next day, because there was, I think, 60 lifters. But because about 10 or 15 dropped out, they thought to save money and time, they'll combine both in one day.
Whoa,
And there was
10 or
about
15 dropped
50,
out?
yeah, and there, I don't know why, but there was about 50 lifters that day.
Wow.
And it was ridiculous. It was obviously the most stressful meet I've ever had. In a place I don't know, around a bunch of people I don't know. It was just me, Jake, and Dan, the man who introduced Jake to powerlifting, and that's all we had. Everybody else was pretty much foreign. We had the gag team around, but they were kind of keeping to themselves, and I wasn't really, I didn't want to throw them off their game. They didn't want to throw me off my game. So we kind of just kept to ourselves and tried to warm up. But I'm telling you, Alan, I was warming up on the squat, right? My opener was 405.
Yep.
My last warm-up that I was able to hit because of how rushed I was 225.
Didn't you forget your shoes or something?
I forgot my shoes, yes. I did not have my wrestling shoes. I had a pair of Nike running shoes on.
Oh, God. Wait.
And I had the squat, bench, and deadlift in them, and I must have got roasted by at least 3 judges.
I think RPS allows you to be in socks now.
Yeah, I don't know. I was actually more nervous of doing it in socks than the running shoes, because I've never lifted in socks before that day.
All right.
So I was like, you know what? I think some shoes are better than no shoes for what I'm doing. I'm just going to go for it. So
right.
I squatted, and I forgot my shoes. My last warm-up is 225 on the squat, and I hear Louis Braue up next. Oh, shit. And I couldn't even squat 315 or 365 before my 405. So I went from 225 right under the bar, different shoes on, and somehow got 405. Did it. It was good. White lights, racked it. Then my next attempt was 415. And I'm still, a little disorganized. Looking at the judges, I think I got 1 red light on my first attempt, so I'm nervous about that. And I go for my 415, and I get called for depth, and I miss it.
Ooh, was it like a?
It was a little high. Yeah, it went smoothly, but it was a little high. I can't lie. And shit, if I can't even get 415, what am I gonna do here?
Was it all red lights?
I think it was 2 red lights. I got
okay.
1 white. So it wasn't too bad, but it was still a no-go.
Oh,
so I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to throw, I think I put 425 on there, and I'm going to try to sink it, and I'm going to see what happens. And I tried to sink it, and I think I failed it, like, completely. I was like, you know what? Whatever. Got my opener.
Yeah, you didn't.
That's not what I'm here for. I'm out. Because what I was here for was the 515 deadlift for my weight, age, and equipment division, which would be a RPS world record. And that's pretty much what I was there for. I was like, you know what?
In terms of deadlift?
I got 1 squat. Yeah, in terms of deadlift. I was like, you know what? I got 1 squat. I'll make a total. Who cares? Onto the bench. That's what I'm here for, too. So, scrap the squat.
Oh, you took the bench record, too?
No, I was thinking about going for that, too. But once I started pressing, it was not there. I can't lie. But Jake was squatting, and he was getting called for depth on squats that should not have even been questioned. There was this one guy, I love him, his name is Let's Go D on Instagram. He was there, I met him that day, great guy. He's competed in IPF, he has IPF tattooed on his skin, the guy knows his stuff, and he was watching Jake squat and almost took his hat off because of how ridiculous it was with his squatting. Right? So the squatting was a little questionable because they even did that with Dan too. So now I get to the bench and I hit my first 2 attempts. I secure 280 on the bench, but I missed 295. Whatever. Time for the deadlift. Time for what we came for. and I got my Nike running shoes on, and we're going up to the deadlift, and the judges in these kilts, because it's RPS, are looking at me all funny with these shoes on. And first attempt, I put something light because my prep before that meet was not that good. I remember before that meet, I wasn't able to get 475 off the floor. I was having a bad meet. I was going through some rough times, and it wasn't coming together. But I was like, you know what? Opener, let's put 465 on there. Let's give it everything I have. This is the last 3 lifts of the day. I'm going to do everything I can. I put 465 on there. Pulled it. It was fast, Alan.
Yeah, got the adrenaline, got that adrenaline,
got the nerves that this is what I'm coming for. So I turned to the guy, and I'm like, 495, throw it on there. I want it. And I go for that, and I pull it. It's pretty fast. It's feeling pretty comfortable. Definitely up to par with how I've been pulling 495 in my earlier prep. And I'll never forget it. I go up to the judges with Dan, and Dan's about to tell the judges his next deadlift. He's like, deep-ass voice, big, most masculine man I've ever met in my life. Louis, what are you calling for your next one? I'm like, you know what? Give me 515. And the look, Dan has never given me a look that wide eyes saying, are you going to even attempt this shit? I'm like, yep, throw it on the bar. I'm going for it. I'm giving it everything. They throw it on the bar for me. I walk up to that deadlift with the last pull of the day, and I give it absolutely everything I have, and I pull it with 3 white lights.
That's good.
And I get the RPS world record for that time.
That was huge. Was that when you were 17?
I was 17, yeah. It was a 16-17 raw modern world record.
Still cemented, though. It's still there, right?
Actually, funny enough, about 6 to 7 months later, this random guy on Instagram DMs me talking about RPS records because he saw my name in there. And he's like, hey, man, I saw your name in the record books. And I was just questioning, and he's asking me, like, small questions, right? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you got to do this, this, that, and the third. He's like, all right. I don't hear from this guy. About 3 weeks later, I go to check my record. The same guy that DM'd me took my record.
Oh, shit. Wait, how much did he break it by?
And he broke it by 5 pounds.
5 pounds?
I was so pissed.
It's 520
I was like, you know what? He did it, and his rep was definitely sloppier than mine. But who am I to say, He's the new 16-17, raw modern, whatever. I'm going for nationals, homie.
Yeah.
I'm happy you got that record, I held it for a good amount of time. It was good for me.
Well, yeah, that's important. Like, on that day, that was your record,
That was my record, yes. And I got first place in my weight class. I pulled more than I ever have in my life. And I benched more than I ever have in my life that day. So I was pretty happy.
Yeah. RPS has the sickest trophies, though, don't they?
Oh, yeah. I got it. I'm looking at it right now in my dresser, man. It's this huge guy with this skull mask deadlifting something heavy right now. Just heavy as all hell. Sick trophy.
You currently have a coach?
Actually, kind of. I'm going to say it with a kind of. I don't really have a cemented coach, but honestly, I've been with my man Jake for so long, and lately we haven't really been training that often because of this whole virus thing. But
he has a nice setup, though.
He has a great setup, and I see him as a coach.
Is that in his house?
He's 5 years older than me. Huh?
Is that in his house?
Yeah, it's in his garage.
Holy moly.
It's a sick setup. And
that his own place?
Own place. Oh, not his own. His parents' place.
Oh.
But everything in that garage, he cleaned out. He built that from the ground up himself.
Jeez.
Honestly, he's put more blood, sweat, and tears in that place than I've seen a lot of people put into setups. And
I got
better man than I
am. One day.
What'd you say? You got to pull up?
No, yeah, I got to pull up there. I got to drive there one day to train with you guys.
It's far, but hey, man, if you can make it, go for it. After this whole virus crap is over.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'd love to have a training session with you.
Yeah. Especially after my damn injury. My fucking surgery. Yeah.
Like, I know this is about me, but I kind of want to hear about that injury briefly if you can. I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I was a competitive wrestler for a while.
Oh yeah, you
I,
told me
I
that.
loved wrestling. I lived and breathed it. I was wrestling in the 195 weight class, and in wrestling
Okay.
practice, you sweat a lot. So I started to lose a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
weight, and I was in the 180s, and I was slowly trimming down. And my coach was like, "Oh, Alan, your weight's getting light. Why don't you want to cut down to 182?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Ooh.
So cutting down was fucking ass. Like I was
Yeah.
dehydrated. I was hungry as hell. And let's
I
see,
know,
I
man.
had
I got a lot of friends who've done wrestling, and it just sounds like torture. That's why I'd
yeah
never done it.
yeah. So there like fast forward senior year, I had a match. Um, it was it was like the most stacked 182 bracket I've ever seen in my life. There was so many. I was placed in a bracket that I had to win to get into the real bracket. So first
Okay.
match I ended up losing, and then second match, that was where I went for a single leg takedown and I heard my shoulder pop, and I was like, "Oh
Oh.
frick!" And then
And how were you feeling that day, like prior? Were you feeling a little achy? Were you feeling fatigued?
nah,
Kind
I
of
was I
worn
was actually
down?
feeling good
Were you
that day.
feeling good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was feeling
But
confident, but then
bad things happened, I
yeah,
guess.
bad things happened. Yeah, I went in for a
Okay.
single leg, shoulder immediately gave out, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell just happened?" And then yeah, I
Damn.
wrestled the rest of the match. Eventually, the guy pins me and forces my arm all the way back behind my head, and the shoulder
So you
gets an
made it
even
even worse
bigger,
almost.
yeah, even bigger pop. And yeah,
Jeez.
but yeah, I ended up like training to wrestle in college, which
Okay.
I wrestled in college for like I think 2 weeks, and then I was out because I was like, fuck this,
Got
I
too
want to
bad, I
focus on
guess.
powerlifting. But
All
when
right.
you met
Yeah.
me, when I competed with a torn shoulder, like I don't think
Really?
not a lot of people knew that. Like
I don't think you told me that actually.
yeah, I had a fucked up shoulder. I like my shoulder like yeah, the day you met me in Gagling Strength, I had a torn shoulder.
Wow.
Like I benched.
I guess that's why you were hating on the bench so much. You weren't telling
Yeah,
me.
I hated the bench press, man. I was like, God damn, it hurts my shoulder. But yeah, let's see. Fast forward to summertime. I was playing handball, and then that was when
Oh
it
no.
ripped even harder. And then yeah, I was like, "Fuck this! I gotta get an MRI." And I did an MRI,
And what came back?
and it was like Bankart lesion, torn labrum. I was like, because it kept dislocating on me, like even during the summer camp. And I was like, "Dude, I gotta get this fixed."
Oh man.
So yeah, I in September 6th, I went to Valley Stream LIJ, the hospital, and
Okay.
yeah, they fixed my labrum, and yeah, so I got
So it's gotten a lot better, I'm guessing, now?
yeah, it's
Like
chill
over
now.
that much time?
But yeah,
You still feel it here and there?
what?
You still feel it here and there? Or no?
I'll only feel it if I put my shoulder in the position where I popped it out.
Ah, okay.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
but
So
powerlifting
you
is
know
that way.
now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but yeah, it's like I went through PT and all that. PT was hell and all that.
Yeah, I've never had that severe of an injury before. So I've had pulls, aches, pains. I've done some really stupid shit before, and it's put me out of commission for some time. Like I remember I was with my guys, well, pretty much almost my family, Jake and my man Ian, and we were doing a deadlift competition, between us in the gym, and it was a 405 rep out competition.
Oh my god.
So one of us does a rep, next one of us does a rep, next one of us does a rep, and then next set, one of us does two, next one does two, next one does three.
Yeah.
And this was
pyramid. Oh my god.
it was ridiculous because there was no rest pretty much either.
Jesus.
So I don't know what was going on with me that day. I should have done way better, but we got to, I think it was 5 reps, and I've never trained like that before. I've never done that quick of consecutive reps in the same weight with no rest. But I wasn't going to say no either. What am I, Come on. So, yeah. So I go for it. First rep, this is okay. Second rep, I'm feeling something. Third rep, this shit is sloppy as hell, but I got to get 2 more. Fourth rep, probably hitched the shit out of it. And fifth rep, I want to go die. And I got up from that deadlift, and I had to wear a belt for the rest of my entire training. So doing pull-ups, doing rows, doing everything, I had to wear a belt because I felt if I completely had some thoracic extension, my spine was going to snap.
Damn.
It
So you
was
pulled something.
ridiculous. I felt like I pulled something pretty drastically. So I had to deload the deadlift for a little while, and I had to deload the squat. But after giving it some time to recover, I didn't really have any massive injury, you know? So I never got an MRI. I never really got it checked out. Just kind of self-helped it, good anti-inflammatories, turmeric, massage, hot, cold. And
Yeah, MRI is
MRI
is last resort. Like,
yeah.
my situation was big time last resort. Like,
yeah, you were in ridiculous pain.
like surgery was like last resort. Like,
I'm sure you've done probably dozens of things before that.
Yeah, I tried all kinds of shit, but yeah, I was like, fuck it.
But you needed it at that point.
Yeah. All right, so I think I know who this is, but why don't you go tell everyone who are your biggest inspirations in powerlifting?
My biggest inspirations. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, but I'm gonna say it first and tell me if you got it right. My biggest inspirations in powerlifting, I'd say competitively wise, I'm gonna say Russell Orhe. He's one of my biggest when it comes to competitors. That huge role model. He held the IPF 181 title for 3 years back to back. I watch a bunch of his content. He just puts out great vibes. He's a good competitor, good sportsmanship, great brand. And I just feel like his way of competing and the way that he shows people, he's aesthetic, he looks good, he moves weight, and he backs up everything he says. And so for me personally, he's one of my biggest role models when it comes to competing. But fitness overall, I think this is the name is going to be Mark Bell.
Yeah.
I think he's everything I pretty much want to become. Competing in powerlifting, moving as much weight as he possibly can, changing people's lives, putting out great equipment, programs, coaching, online coaching, making his own gym, equipment, merchandise, everything. And he just keeps going. And to be one of the only brands other than SBD to have his equipment and his knee sleeves, his wrist wraps, his everything be IPF approved is insane. It costs ridiculous amounts of money, and it takes a different kind of standard to push it that far. And he started from almost nothing. And now he's by far, in my opinion, one of the biggest powerlifting role models of all time, almost.
Yeah, if you guys don't know Mark Bell, Bigger, Faster, Stronger, watch that documentary.
Whew. Oh my God. If you don't know Mark Bell, you shouldn't know who I am. You should go look into Mark Bell right now.
Yeah, Mark Bell. I think he was a big multiply guy.
Oh yeah. He's done insane lifts on the bench in multiply. He's done some insane lifts raw. He cut down, I think, over 100 pounds.
Oh yeah, he was a big super
great now. He was heavy. He was a big boy moving some big weight on the bench, squat and the deadlift. And now he cut down. He's got abs. He's running miles. He's still moving weight. And he's running super training gym. And he's killing it. Killing it in the industry and killing it in the community and spreading what I think should be pushed. Because all this marketing BS, these crappy companies that come out like selling these shitty supplements and equipment, trying to push narratives that if you take our stuff, you'll get huge.
Yeah, that's not.
Or if you take this, you'll get lean. You do this, you're 5 minutes abs. Any of that crap is all nonsense. But what Mark Bell has been pushing for God knows how many years before I even got into the sport is hard work, dedication, train right, eat right, and sleep right, and you can get anything you want out of this game. And that's all it really comes down to, how bad you want it.
Yeah.
And for me, he has been one of my biggest inspirations, and pretty much what I aspire to be.
Didn't Mark Bell rip his pec 3 times or something?
Oh yeah, he ripped his pec. He fell with I think 800 pounds on his back in a squat, completely tore his quad.
Did he do surgery for that?
Yeah, he had to get surgery
Oh.
done. I'm almost 100% sure. He's been through some vigorous crap, and he's still running miles, doing plyometric work, plenty of different types of cardio work and strength training at a different weight class.
Yeah,
and it's just unheard of.
Yeah, one of the biggest excuses I've seen with, especially as you get older, is I can't do it because I did this.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it because I injured whatever the hell.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, if I start talking about this hard, this podcast will be 3 hours long. But all I'm going to say about that is I've seen men in person, 65 years old, rack pulling 7 plates, deadlifting almost 585 pounds. And online, I saw a few guys, but this one guy really caught my eye. 90 years old, deadlifting 405.
90 years
sumo. I swear to God.
What's his name?
I still have the video deep on my phone, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because if I'm seeing men like that, powerlifting that much, and seeing men who are 45, 50, 55 years old looking amazing on the bodybuilding stage, like look at Michael Hearn. Michael Hearn still looks like a Greek god, and he's in his early to mid 40s.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
So I'm getting sick and tired of men who are in their early 30s or late 20s trying to come up to me and say, when you get to my age.
Oh, dude, I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's such an excuse.
I hate that so
it's
much.
Such
oh
an
my
excuse.
God.
I said, actually, I wish I was your age because I'd have the muscular maturity, the joint strength, and the bone structure that because you're not fully grown and matured physically until you're like 25, I think.
Yeah.
Scientifically. In your bone structure, your muscular maturity, your joint strength.
Yeah, hormones and all that.
Don't come at me being at almost the peak testosterone, peak everything, peak capability, and try to tell me when you get to my age. Just because you hurt yourself doing some dumb shit in football when you were 18 and now your shoulder never feels the same because you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I hate that excuse.
Get out of here. One of the great injury comebacks that I heard about was, you obviously know Louis Simmons, Westside Barbell. Like,
yeah, of course.
When he broke his back and like came back to squatting 900, like what the hell?
Like, actually, I don't think I heard that story directly though.
Oh, you've never? Oh, you should. Like,
broke his back? Like what? I gotta look into it.
Yeah, he did an X-ray on his back, literally cracked, and like
vertebrae.
That's when he invented the reverse hyper, and then that's when he like
the reverse hyper.
Then he rehabbed it, and like he was off his crutches, he was chilling, and then he came back in a meet squatted 900, and he was like in his 50s, and I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. So it really comes down to how bad you want it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's not many excuses you could use. How bad do you want it, and what do you want to gain from this?
Yeah, that's true.
Stop giving me excuses. Anyone can do it.
Yeah. And
that's what I'm kind of showing right now, for me, I guess. But, I'm still young into the sport. But right now, my best student, I'm going to say, best person I've ever coached and trained in my entire life, his name is JT, is going to do his first powerlifting meet in December. And
who's JT?
As young as he'd like to say he is, he's in his early 40s.
Oh God.
And this man, now listen to this, he's in his early 40s, and I've gotten him to comfortably deadlift 315, bench about 165, 175, and squat around 255. And we have only been powerlifting, strictly powerlifting, for about 3 or 4 months.
Hey, man, the fucking powerlifting helps your joints, man.
It
does.
Wants
to believe that.
He has never felt, as he lost 60 pounds, he has never felt physically as happy. He has asthma, and he hasn't had to use his inhaler in the past 4 months.
Oh, I had asthma.
And he has never felt as strong as he ever has in his life.
What weight class do you plan on getting him into?
He's going to be competing in the 198 weight class.
So
he started
Masters division, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's
classified Masters.
Yeah.
That's what he'll be doing. in the novice meet in December 9th or 8th, I think.
I actually might do the novice meet again just to
Do it,
get my
man.
feet wet again before I fuck.
I'll be there, and I told him, and I'll say it anytime anyone asks me. When he steps on that platform for the first time, I'll be one of the proudest. It'll be one of the proudest moments I've ever had in my life, because that'll be the first day I will officially be a powerlifting coach.
That's awesome.
I've brought my own student for months and months, and actually it would be a year of training and coaching, and he performs and he does the best he can. Even if he doesn't touch a barbell, he steps on that platform, I'm gonna be one of the most proudest moments of my life. I could say.
I've actually
the start of my career.
I was coaching a guy. He was he's Nassau County Sheriff, so he's like a law enforcement guy, big guy, right? He plays hockey and all that.
Probably yoked.
And he was a big bench presser. I was like, yo, why don't you do a meet? He's like, oh nah, man, those guys are crazy. And yeah,
that's what they all say.
Gaglione had a meet, and his bench for boobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, yo, do this one. He's like, oh yeah, all right, I'll do it. And
it's a bench only. I'm sure that's good to get his feet wet.
And he ended up getting the highest bench. He paused bench like 420, and
these guys are animals, and you just outdid all of it.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a proud moment. Being able to lead someone
100%,
through training.
Man. I can't wait for it. I really can.
Yeah, I'll probably be able to witness it because I'll probably go there.
Oh, you will? I hope so, man. I'm gonna be there with almost everybody I started with. I'm hoping Jake will be there. My man.
Are you guys gonna lift too, or?
I'm not 100% sure if he'll be lifting there, but his brother might lift there. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good setup and a good team there.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for it.
All right. Also, I want to ask. Let's see.
Of course.
What
you got for me?
Powerlifting makes it so enjoyable? What makes you keep on coming back?
Ooh, I like that one. So, for me, what makes me keep coming back and what makes me enjoy it so much is the grit behind it and the overall just, no, I'm not going to give in. I'm going to give it everything I have aspect of it.
Yeah.
And just being able to, no matter what's going on in your life, train for it, do your sets, get your work in, get your good food in. And at the end of the day, the whole world could be burning, but a 45-pound plate will still weigh 45 pounds. And you can still get to that barbell, and you can still put everything you have into it, no matter what's going on. I've had some rough times in my life. I'm not going to say I've had the worst life, because I've been blessed. I can't lie. But I've had some rough times, with anxiety and depression and stuff like that. And I can clearly and honestly, wholeheartedly say, if it wasn't for the barbell, powerlifting, fitness, and the community I've created around me, I'd be a different person today.
Yeah.
And it keeps pulling me back into it. It's the drug I'll never get rid of, and I never be not addicted to. It's everything to me. And
what would you say it's done to you as a person?
As a person, it's given me something to fuel. It's given me the gasoline on the fire to say I can do other things in my life too. Because if I can have a nationally, accepted, if I did it in a USAPL meet, right? A nationally accepted total, 3 times body weight deadlift in a meet. I guess you can call me a competitive powerlifter at this point in my life. If I can do all this in a short 2 years of my life, what if I applied that to other aspects of my life? Yeah. What can I do with that? And it's possible. And for me, this was my fuel. And my goal in life, I said it before, but one other big goal is to show people that, listen, your fuel in life might not be fitness. It might be art. It might be food. It might be music. It might be other sports. It could be anything. But I'm just trying to show people in this life before I die that if you use that passion to fuel you and guide you and push you in the right direction, you can do anything. And
that's awesome.
For me, it was fitness. So if I train people, like right now, JT, this has become a passion to him. This has become something that he really wants to do. and he
Is that
keeps coming back.
his actual name, or is that just
His actual name is James Tatum, but we just call him JT for short. But this has become
You're thinking
something.
Justin Timberlake. Like, what the?
Yeah, no. But this has become something that really means something to him, something he really enjoys, and pulled him out of a dark place. So if I can do that with just one person, and I'm only 19 years old, it just goes to show what the rest of my life has to show.
Yeah, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, man. Okay, you shoot for the moon, you might hit the stars.
Yeah.
Who knows? You keep going higher.
So as of right now, obviously, I think since March we've been locked down. Nasty virus, COVID-19, also known as coronavirus.
Killing you, man.
Very nasty respiratory illness, gives you pneumonia, has a very long incubation period.
Flu-like symptoms, yes.
Yeah. Like 14 days until you actually know you have it. Like, it's pretty horrible. So as of right now, the U.S. has been shut down. So I want to know, how have you been training during COVID-19?
Well, honestly, it's been shitty. You know, I reached out to a couple close friends who had some fitness equipment and weights and stuff like that sitting in storage units and haven't really been using them. And this one really good guy who had a very nice setup, who he hasn't used in a long time because he's searching for a house, he said, you know what, during this whole thing, your garage is empty. I'll bring it over in my truck and you'll have a setup. And it's been, it's been a blessing. I've been able to work with, I got around 570 pounds. I've got
what the hell?
Yeah. Jesus. I've got 2 barbells. I've got everything I need to squat, bench, and deadlift, and a couple things in between in my garage. And it's been a blessing. It's been a huge blessing, and I've been able to do 90% of what I was doing before the virus. So honestly, for me personally, it's been great. I've still been able to train my man JT, James Tatum, whenever he needs to. But one of the shittiest things is it's been hard to train with my other really close friends, really hard to train with my man Jake, my man Ian, and other people in my life, And that's been kind of heartbreaking to me because I started with them. They're family to me. And kind of the reason why I started this whole journey, and the fact that I'm kind of confined and not able to train with them is really shitty. But hopefully when the shit blows over soon, I'll come back over to the Power Ridge, Jake's garage, and we'll start killing it again, man. It's always a great time over there.
With me too. With a freaking 2-hour drive? I don't even know how long it is.
Yeah, it's
you guys are out in middle
Farmingdale, right?
Me? No, I'm from Jericho. So.
You're from Jericho. Holy shit!
It's even farther.
So you'd have to. How far is it a drive from Gaglione? Is that an hour?
Oh no, the Gaglione maybe 20, 25 minutes.
Okay, so it would be probably like an hour and a half at most to get over.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. We're all the way out in Middle Island.
All right, yeah, that's crazy.
It's a hike. I can't lie.
Well, training for me during this time has been.
Yeah, I want to hear about it.
Yeah, because I have no equipment. I actually started getting into grip strength. If you know Iron Mind, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so you know their gripper lines, the Captains of Crush. Yeah, so
man, I bought you know Grip Genie?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I got their stuff.
Yeah, so I bought a bunch of Captains of Crush grippers. I've been making pretty good progress. I think.
Okay. What you closed?
I closed the 2.5 yesterday.
Okay.
And working on the 3.
Dude, the 3 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've closed the 2.5 before, but the 3 is insanity.
Yeah, because you got to set it and all that. It's crazy. The set's even crazier.
Yeah, it's unheard of. But I have a loading pin in my garage. I have a block. I have a hub.
So, you have a hub? Oh, damn.
Yeah, the hub is like banging your fingers into a door. That's what it feels like when you get some weight on there. It's ridiculous. But the block, I've moved about 60 pounds in the block. So
I've never tried any of the other stuff, but I think I got a kettlebell. I'm actually a 50-pound kettlebell.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been.
So what you been doing with a lot of body weight exercises, pull-ups, push-ups, stuff like that?
Yeah, I did. One day I just got so bored. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try 1,000 push-ups in an hour and a half. Just put a random timer out there. And I finished it in an hour 27. Just made it. And that's off.
I think I'd be having a heart attack. But I mean,
Yeah, I was sore for like a whole week. I was dead.
wow, I've never tried something like that, man. The conditioning, jeez,
Yeah,
you're probably
and that
sweating
was,
like you ran a mile, huh?
and it was good confidence booster for my shoulder
Hell
because
yeah! If your
the shoulder
shoulder
was.
can withstand that, your shoulder can definitely withstand some pretty good numbers on the bench, for sure.
Yeah,
When this whole quarantine blows over.
I need to get back. We all got to get back.
Yeah, definitely, man.
All right, now we are talking. Let's see, meat prep. So
Meat prep.
let's say you have a meet. Okay, let's say there is no quarantine right now. It's May.
Yeah,
You have a meet, let's say in September.
got it.
What would a prep look like for you, like
Okay.
over a 4 month period?
A prep for me is normally going to start with some pretty low percentages, trying to build some good volume in some rep ranges from 8 to 12, work on my sixes and sevens, and trying to build sets where I can really build strength, build muscle, and build conditioning in those kind of rep ranges. And, it's going to be a lot of food, a lot of water, a lot of training, longer training sessions. And it's not only going to be the squat, bench, and deadlift solely for the first few months. It's going to be a lot of accessory work and just doing everything I can to put on the most amount of muscle I can. And then,
So like hypertrophy phase.
yeah, just that's the beginning of the prepping phase. And then as I'm getting towards the middle of the prep, I'm going to slowly start to decrease the amount of accessory work I'm doing while I'm pulling back the rep ranges to maybe work on my fives, my fours, my big sets of fives and fours and threes, and building some power and confidence in the big three with that. And then as it gets closer and closer to meet day, I'm going to really pretty much pull all of my accessory work out and really try to train that one rep strength. And I'm going to start doing commands on my lifts probably a month out and really trying to build confidence and envision what my total would look like, my openers, my closers, and really just trying to envision everything from the crowd to my mindset to the food I'm bringing to the pre-workout I'm drinking to Gatorade, everything, water. I'm just trying to picture it all like a month out. And then a week or two before, I try to pull back all that stress. I try to deload the lifts, a lot. Maybe I'll hit something close to my opener on the squat, bench, and deadlift.
Like your last
About 3 days out or 4 days out, I'll hit something close to my openers just for the confidence boost. And then the last 2 days, I'll try to not eat too much or not drink too much water, keep my weight in a good spot, try to relax, do some anti-inflammation work, whether it's hot, cold. I have these electrodes that I put on my body to stimulate blood flow.
Oh, you got the stim? Oh, that's good.
Those really help. I get some massage therapy done, and turmeric is huge, man. I have a turmeric and ginger complex that I mix with my water. And for me, it's been one of the biggest helpers in digestive help and just keeping my inflammation down.
Is turmeric like a pill form, powder form?
It comes in a lot of forms, actually. For me, I do powder. So it's, 1 scoop of powder. It has, like, this complex I have right here is about a half a gram of turmeric and 15 milligrams of ginger. And I mix it in some water, stir it up, shake it up. And it's like an orange flavor. It's pretty tangy. It's not the best tasting. But for me, real fast, I'll feel no more cramping, no more tightness. And my recovery is just through the roof when I'm doing all of those things.
Huh.
And then I show
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I'll try one day.
You should, 100%. It's a root. It's a natural root found in the ground that a lot of people have been using for hundreds of years and really has helped me personally. So I've been using
So you use it for your aches and pains?
Yeah, for aches and pains, recovery in general. And for digestive health. It's helped me digest and break down if I'm eating a lot of food and trying to bring in a lot of calories and macros. It's been a big help. And for the really hard training sessions when I'm laying in bed and I feel like my chest is fighting against me. It's a big help.
So this is like a post workout drink.
Post workout, definitely. Post
Okay.
workout, later into the day, I'll mix it up with some water and I'll drink it after a medium sized meal. And then
Actually, now that we're on the topic of supplements, what others do you take?
See, that's the thing. When it comes to supplements, I'm not huge. I don't have a huge stack where I'm taking about 10 different pill bottles of amino acids and what is it? A mass gainer or something to shred me out and bunch of stuff. For me, it's always been a simple pre-workout that has some caffeine. It's been the only amino acid that I've taken outside of my pre-workout that I believe works for me is L-arginine, which really helps with the release of blood flow, and I've seen personally help. It's just a natural.
That's just one amino acid.
Just
arginine?
one amino acid, and then this one I actually got is an L-arginine and L-citrulline complex, which they both pretty much are like the yin yang of blood release, and they both help. So that's about it for me.
Release, like production of red blood cells?
Yeah, releases the production of red blood cells and kind of helps with the pumps and stuff and blood flow during and before the workout I'll take with my
What about creatine? You like creatine?
See, I have used creatine a few times in my life, and I have seen, it's the most studied and most proven supplement in the world. So it does work.
It's 100%.
It's so cheap. You get a simple creatine monohydrate. You start taking 5 grams every day. In 4 weeks, you will see a difference if you're training adequately and you're drinking enough water.
Yeah.
It's just scientifically proven. And it works.
Yeah.
And I've used it, and it has worked. But for me personally, the weight that it puts on and the kind of way I feel when I'm on it, I don't particularly like. I feel heavier.
Yeah.
I feel sluggish. I don't.
Loaded.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people feel this like surge of energy that comes from it, but particularly I don't feel that much. I kind of like being lighter, having more blood flow coming through, good water, caffeine, and just moving more. Movement is so important for me in my exercise. But after all that prep goes in, right, I don't even take protein powder. I'm not a big fan of protein powder. I feel every here and there, I will take it if I have no choice, if I don't have access to a meal. But particularly if I'm going to get 40 grams of protein from a scoop or a nice steak with some rice and some broccoli, I'm going for the meal every day.
Yeah.
You're getting, it's better, your blood amino acid level will stay at a steady rate for longer periods of time. You're digesting more of the protein, and it's just so much beneficial, so much more beneficial when it comes to
more natural.
Yeah, it's more natural.
Yeah. And
I'm always going for the meal. But when it comes to meat day, so this is the last thing, all that prep goes in. Meat day, it's, eyes on the prize, not a lot of emotion, not too much nerves, not too much excitement, not too much anger. It's just I flip the switch and it's go time and I perform.
Yeah, just get the work done, right?
And after that, I'll have a couple drinks, eat whatever I want, and I'll enjoy the night with the guys.
Couple drinks, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is a big one.
Let's hear it.
So I know a couple of years ago, their USAPL lifters were not particularly happy because they decided to raise the national qualifying totals.
Yeah.
And well, I don't. You know about this?
I have heard. I haven't really done any research, but I have heard a little bit about it.
Yeah. So they basically raised the totals. I don't know by how much, but enough where a good amount of athletes would not be able to qualify. Mm-hmm. And it was
all over Instagram and stuff.
Yeah. Every person was like, "Yo, that's not fair, man. That's like we want to go to nationals too, but." I don't know. My take on it is
those are the new standards.
It's nationals.
It's nationals.
It's like
the bar gets
the best,
raised every second. Okay, because people are always getting better and breaking records and surpassing other people, and that's how it is.
Instead of complaining, just
be better,
train harder.
Train harder. you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Stop complaining isn't going to help anything.
Yeah. That's a lot of athletes, they were so upset. They're like, we wanted to go to nationals,
and my totals weren't 100% in line with nationals when I was at the 181. So what I did is I took a step back, lost some weight, lost some fat that I didn't need. I dropped a weight class, and I trained twice as hard, got my numbers back in a lower weight class, and the last meet I did qualified to compete nationally.
Yeah, you were when I competed with you, you were in a 181 class, right?
I was heavier. I was still moving a decent amount of weight, and I was feeling strong, but I did feel a little heavy. And when I dropped to this class I'm in right now, I feel more athletic. I feel more mobile. And this could potentially, I'm not even 100% sure, because in the coming years, I might fill out a 181 weight class and look good, like, competitors like Russell Orhe or Sean Noriega look at 181. But right now,
Brett Gibbs.
Yeah, exactly, Brett Gibbs. But right now in this time, I feel most comfortable and confident at the 74 kg weight class, which is about 165.
Yeah.
Yep.
All I know is that USAPL doesn't use deadlift bars.
No, it's all power bar. It's a power bar throughout all the lifts.
Yeah.
And it's just get over it.
I love deadlift bars.
And you're not able to wear any other clothing with a brand other than IPF approved brands. And that's why
they have a whole book.
And that's why it's crazy, because Mark Bell is one of the only brands, his brand, Slingshot and Supermax Training, one of the only brands that is IPF approved, which is awesome because almost all of my equipment I have is Mark Bell.
Slingshot, you got the
I have the X sleeves, I have the strong wraps, I've got all of it,
Oh, you have knee wraps?
I do. I'm not knee wraps, knee sleeves.
Oh, knee sleeves. You ever consider using knee wraps?
It's maybe. I would see, now this is where it comes. Ready? I would never lift equipped, but when it comes to knee wraps, it's kind of like the in-between of raw.
Yeah, because it's not really equipped.
It's not really equipped. I don't know. Personally, I would have to become very comfortable, very confident in them, get stronger with them, and take out some pretty heavy numbers. And then I would, I'd consider. But as of right now, with the kind of sleeves I've been wearing, I feel pretty damn confident in these Mark Bell X sleeves. They give me a pretty good pop out of the hole, and I don't feel like I have peg legs when I walk up to the squat,
Oh yeah, because when you have knee wraps, you're stiff
legged
the whole time.
Your knees at all until you have at least 300 pounds on your back.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see. This is our final question before we move to Thor, and we talk about his deadlift. We'll talk about that after this one. So, yeah. So, what kind of advice would you have for someone that's starting out, like a young athlete in powerlifting?
I gotta say, man, you brought some killer questions. I just gotta give you a quick applause. Man. You killed it.
Yeah.
But this question's great. What would I tell a young athlete starting out in powerlifting? I would tell him or her not to be. Don't rush it. Don't be too, quick to jump the gun and think everything's going to come to you that quick, because powerlifting is easily one of the most unforgiving sports if you rush it and do not train properly. Yeah. People have torn muscles and have done, unimaginable injuries
out of the game for a while.
In lifting, unfixable injuries in lifting. It's happened plenty of times. Powerlifting isn't one of the highest rates of injury in sports, but it's still there. And a lot of people, they think they could put a pound on their lifts every day. And it's hard to get that progress that fast. So what I would say to a young athlete is to train hard, have confidence, stay in pocket, don't get too cocky, and keep moving forward. And it will come. There might be days where you think, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe this is too hard, but you just have to keep that chin up and ask yourself every day in the mirror, how bad do you want it? And that's what it's going to come down to, because if you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I really don't want it that bad, don't do powerlifting. Don't.
Yeah, it's not
Because
lighthearted.
it will just make it so much harder for yourself, and you're wasting your time. If you want to try it out once or twice for fun, when you kind of want it, I get it. But if you're thinking about long term, you have to really want it and really work for it, or else it's just a waste of your time. I know it's kind of cutthroat the way I'm saying it, but it's true. Alan can attest. You have to fight for this. This doesn't come to anybody. Nobody's born like this.
Yeah, no. The amount of people that told me I wasn't gonna be able to come back after my shoulder was insane. Like,
ridiculous,
insurmountable. I was like, dude, you guys are all wrong. Shut the hell up. Like, yeah,
100%.
I'll get back.
The amount of people who saw me when I first got into the gym, you know, a chubby, unathletic, kind of shy, insecure Louis walking around the gym. I'd get looks. I'd get, you know, people talking, and people would just be like, what is this kid doing here? He doesn't even know what he's doing. And for a lot of people, that's a huge confidence cutter. You know, you see that and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to leave. But it made me want to do it even more. I'm going to prove all these guys wrong, and I'm going to do everything I can to be the best I can.
Yeah. The doubters they're just adding more wood to the fire.
Yeah, man. It's fuel. For sure.
Yeah.
You have to treat it as fuel, because if you treat it as water to the fire instead of gasoline, you're just going to hurt yourself in the end, man. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you shouldn't stop something just because someone has a bad opinion about it.
Like I said before, man, keep moving forward and keep asking yourself how bad you want it. And if the question is, you know, like Eric Thomas says, if you want it more than you want to breathe, that's how you're going to be successful.
Yeah. I heard that interview where he stuck a kid in water or something.
Oh, I love that interview. It's like, I'm not going to go through the whole story, but I'll just quickly say it. It's pretty much a story that Eric Thomas, I keep mixing it up. E.T. is what he calls himself. Great, my favorite motivational speaker. God, I'm slurring my words. We've been talking for like an hour. I'm starting to slur my shit. But pretty much, yeah. He talked about a story of this guy who starts speaking to a guru about how he wants to be successful. And he says, if you really want to be successful, you meet me by the water at 4 a.m. tomorrow. And the guy, you know, meets him by the water, and he starts walking into the water, and he's asking him, you know, what are we doing here? I'm trying to be successful. I'm not a lifeguard. And he's like, come a little deeper. He's like, all right, I guess I'll come a little deeper. And the guru takes his head and puts it under the water, and he's holding him down right before he's about to pass out. And then he picks him up, and he says, I have a question for you. And, you know, he asked, what was the question? And he said, when you were underwater, what did you want to do? And he said, I wanted to breathe. And the guru says back to him, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. And that's the biggest quote. And that's how he ended it. And it's so true. How bad do you want it? It really comes down to that.
Limits are like only in your mind.
100%.
They stop them.
You set your own limits
before they even try it. Yeah.
People don't set limits for you. You set your own limits.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was good. So
let's talk
big
about
topic of the
big
day.
man Thor.
Big Thor pulled a record-setting 501 kilos in the deadlift, and he made it look like fucking 135.
100%.
Yeah. I know he did it in a suit, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a 501 kilos.
I love my man Eddie Hall, but he did it in a suit too. With 500.
Yeah, he did in a suit.
You know, that's when you want to lift the most weight ever lifted off the floor in a deadlift, you're gonna wear a suit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You want every advantage for you.
He had like double layers. He had like a back brace on top of his lever belt.
And so did Thor. Right after he came off the deadlift, he put his arms up, and everybody started taking the layers off of him to give him some airflow.
Well, yeah,
it was crazy. It was insane.
I don't know. Thor trains really smart.
Oh, yeah.
most of his deadlifts are fairly submaximal, even
Yes.
though they're like huge numbers. But every deadlift he does looks
It's
effortless.
crazy.
Like,
Have you seen some of the
yeah.
training he's done with Larry Wheels?
Oh yeah, when he went to
Yeah,
Iceland. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Larry asked him a question because he was, asking him a question about that. He's like, "How come every one of your lifts look like so easy? Do you ever compete? Like tell me about it." And what he would say is, he'd say, "Every time I compete, I would never hit something like I'd never PR in a meet. Everything that I'd hit in a meet, I've already done in training. So all of my numbers, they just come natural to me. If I hit them in the gym, I hit them in my competition. And then I train and I hit a heavier weight in the gym and I hit that weight in competition. It's just textbook for him, and it's crazy."
Wait, so he never PRs during training?
He never PRs during a meet. So everything that he hits in a meet, he'll hit, except for this 501, of course. He didn't pull before. But everything that he'll hit in a normal strongman competition, he has already hit in training. Because that's how calculated he is. And it's crazy the kind of training he goes through and prep and everything with his team.
Yeah. I think he went like 420, 465, and then 501.
Yeah, I kind of just came into the stream right before the 501. I can't lie.
Oh, really?
But it was insane. And I wanted him so badly to just put a little 5 kilos on each side and just go for it because of how easy he made it look. But I guess a record's a record at the end of the day.
I was like, yeah, he's gotten it because he's got that dad strength now. He's
got
on the way.
He is ginormous. He is about 450 pounds, 6'10". The mountain.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I think he played basketball before.
Oh, yeah. He played basketball. Brian Shaw played basketball. I'm
pretty sure almost all of them. They're also tall. Yep. Like, it's crazy.
Eddie Hall is like the shortest of them, and he's 6'4", I think.
What?
Yeah. He's the shortest of the strongman, and he's 6'4", 6'5". And Thor is like 6'10".
There's another guy up and coming, Rob Kearney?
Rob Kearney. Yeah, I've heard of him. How tall is he?
Yeah, he's like 5'10" or something, 5'11".
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, I was talking about, like, the greatest. I haven't really heard too much of this newcomer. 5'10"?
Yeah, well, he's up and coming. He's awesome. Getting there.
I'd love to see someone, under 6 foot really dominating in strongman. That would be something new.
And he's not even that heavy, too. He's like high 200s or like low 3s.
Really?
Yeah, he's really strong, though.
He probably looks pretty good, too.
Yeah, well, he's the thing about him, he's on Instagram, he's world's strongest gay. So he's an open homosexual.
Okay. Oh, and I do know him. He has the rainbow mohawk.
Yeah.
He did a video
that guy's crazy.
With I think Eddie Hall. I've seen him do some work.
I know he trained in Brian Shaw's.
Brian Shaw too. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen that. No, he's cool, man.
Yeah, there was one. It's because there was one meet they did. I don't know. It was like in Texas or something, and this guy like called him a faggot or something.
Oh my god!
And he responded with, "Yeah, I suck dick, but I lift more than you." I fucking died. I was like, "What?"
That's so badass, man.
Yeah. And the guy was quiet.
Of course. What are you gonna say back to that? Just put him in his place.
Yeah.
Let him know. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I know him by the mohawk, man. That shit's badass. He looks like a parrot with that mohawk. With the
I think his husband's a strongman too.
Really?
I forgot. Yeah, like obviously not as strong, but like I think he's a big time lifter.
That's cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah. Damn. Well, yeah. So that basically wraps up our podcast.
Yep.
What did you think?
I had a great time, man, and I can't wait to do more of these. Hopefully, sometime in the near future, I'm gonna start up my own. And I'd love to have you on mine too, man. It was great talking to you. It's been a little while since we chatted, and it's kind of awesome to reach out to other people, talk about topics regarding fitness and health and things going on, and talk about my story a little bit. This is one of the first times I'm talking about it, and it sure as hell will not be the last.
Do you want to tag your Instagram name?
Sure. It's at Leviathan Lifts. It's not a word a lot of people say often or know how to read. LEVIATHAN_lifts on Instagram. Check me out. I post content weekly at the minimum, squat, bench,
Weekly.
deadlifts. And we have a great time on there. And hopefully I'm going to start pushing that brand and pushing Leviathan, in fitness and powerlifting more and more. And it's going to be a great time. So thank you for having me, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's been great having you on. We talked about some good stuff. And yeah.
Definitely.
So that was it, guys. So we'll be signing off.